This place is called Keweenaw. This is a very unique place. It's a total circle. There's only one way to enter it. There are 3 kivas here. They have 3 functions: education function, a religious function, and a government function. And they're still used in the modern day Pueblos, the kivas. In this unit right here in what we call the plaza, there were 3 of them. One of them's been excavated. The other 2 have not been excavated, and there's no indication that we'll ever excavate them, just leave them the way that we found them. We're pretty convinced that when this place was occupied, it had over 400 rooms. Of course, today they're reduced to just the foundations of the rooms, and evidence suggests that over here on the east side, there were 3 stories of rooms, 3 floors. And over on the west side, there was mostly just 1 story. Why they did that, we can only speculate. There's good evidence that the first floor rooms were used for turkey pens, storing the grain. They were farmers. They were an agrarian society. And they would harvest their grains, corn, beans, and squash, put them in their pots, and store them over the winter on the first floor. And then maybe on the second and third floor they lived, particularly in the summertime when the activities were associated with their agrarian nature. They did a lot of their farming, in fact probably most of it on the mesa tops here instead of on the floor of the canyon, even though the floor of the canyon yielded the water because there's a stream that runs through here, a lovely little stream. So their water source was down here, but we see the old farms, quote, where they actually raised their crops in the archeological work that's been done up on the mesa tops rather than down here in the canyon. In the wintertime, they would go up here on the side of the canyon wall where they built their homes and live there. Of course, it gets pretty cold here in northern New Mexico. They dug those caves up there out of the very soft volcanic rock. In some of the caves, they built a house in front of them, and one of them we've reconstructed. When they built these buildings right up against the wall of the canyon, they would build the walls out of these stone blocks that they would carve out of. It's very soft. Tuff is the name of the rock. I call them loaf of bread-shaped bricks. Then they would build up the walls, and then they'd drill holes into the wall of the canyon in a nice horizontal row, and then they would collect ponderosa pine logs and insert them into the wall and the other end on the front wall of their house. And this constituted the basis of their roof. From the work that has been done archaeologically, they've identified over 1,000 caves on that wall. And every one has a number and has a photograph and has a detailed description of what they found, if they found petroglyphs or if they found pictographs on the wall or whatever. And of course those are not accessible to the public. We have stabilized 3 of the caves, and when you walk up there, if you see a ladder going into a cave, you're welcome to go into that cave. The others we ask you don't, because they're so fragile. We're in one canyon here, and there are 3 major canyons, just like this one, 2 more in the park. In every one of the canyons, there's more archaeology. On the mesa tops, there's more archaeology. It's an archaeologist's paradise, really. There's one up the canyon, half a mile from where we're standing approximately, which is a large, massive hole in this north wall. We call it Alcove House. Some people will come into this park and that's all they want to do is hike up to Alcove House, because there we find 3 30-foot ladders in sequence, stairs in between them, and a 10-foot ladder, 140 feet they have to climb up vertically on the wall to get into that thing. And there is a kiva up there, as well as remnants of some of the houses that these people built up there. Within the park itself, there are well over 3,000 archaeological sites, and then even more than that on the entire plateau. This is amazing, I think, not only for the archaeology and the experience, but for the beauty of the place.
Oh, well, very nice, very nice. We like the autumn colours.
You learn about the culture here. There's a lot of mixing of Native American and Spanish and Mexican cultures.
It was magical, spectacular.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's really peaceful.
Make sure you climb up to the very top, go to the farthest cliff dwelling on the loop. It's like the best view in the whole spot.
It's just amazingly beautiful. It's amazing to walk these trails knowing that people walked these trails 1,000 years ago, and they built these places about 800 years ago, that they were living here, farming, hunting, gathering. Just put all that through your mind as you hike along and see these things. I can't overemphasize the beauty of the place. It's just amazing.